Okay, listen, I want to welcome everyone here this morning on behalf of Cork City Libraries. We're delighted to be associated with anything to do with books and reading, and it is great to see a new author emerging who is taking the courage in their hands by putting their words and pictures into print. It's a wonderful book. I think people who buy it or borrow it from the library are going to enjoy it. We want to welcome the Deputy Lord Mayor, Joe Callahan, Councillor Joe Callahan. The Lord Mayor unfortunately had to go to a funeral in Clonmel of a City Council member who died over the weekend. So the Deputy Lord Mayor filled in at the very last minute, and we're grateful for him for coming at the last minute to do this. We'd like to welcome Reverend Nick Cassidy, and we'd like to extend a special welcome as well to the Minister, Simon Coveney, who again has given up his very valuable time to be with us, and we very much appreciate the support of the Minister, both in supporting the launch of the book and in supporting the public library. I've very little to say apart from that you're all very welcome here. We're delighted to see. Just to the children present, remember that the public library is a great place to participate in. Membership is free. There's loads and loads of events always going on, and remember that reading is something not just for school, but something that you can enjoy for yourself any time that you want to take away a couple of free minutes for yourself. There's nothing like losing yourself in a book, so including Vincent's book. So welcome to everyone. It's my pleasure now to call on Nick Cassidy, who will welcome us. The Deputy Lord Mayor will then say a few words, and that will be followed by Brian O'Kane, who's been very supportive in this publication, and the Minister then will address you. So could I call first on the Reverend Nick Cassidy.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Wonderful to see so many children here today. Absolutely fantastic. But it's my duty to just share a couple of words and then pray, because one of the great influences upon this author has been his faith in Jesus Christ. So that's been a wonderful event in his life, where he's now created this beautiful book. And we want to celebrate the creativity of people. You know, God has made us all very creative. Every one of us have got gifts. And it is fantastic when we bring those gifts out and those gifts bless other people's lives. And this book is something that is going to be a great source of joy to many children. You know, there's a great book called the Bible, which is a collection of books, of 66 books. Actually, the Bible is 66 books all in one book. And this has been a great influence upon Vincent's life. But, you know, the good book says that all good things come from God, come down from the Father of light. And we want to thank Almighty God today that everything good that we see in this world, in the literature, and in the books, in nature, in friendship, in love, all comes from His kindness to us. So let's just close our eyes for one moment. We're going to pray, and then we're going to continue with this opening of this book. Let's close our eyes for a moment. Dear Lord God, we thank you for your mercy and your kindness to us, Lord, that indeed you are a creative God, that you created this world, you created every life in it, and everyone here is important to you, Lord. You have a great plan for our lives, Lord, and I pray for each man and woman, boy and girl here today, Lord, and indeed for Vincent and his family also, Lord, that, Lord, this literature and these books, Lord, these creativities, Lord, will affect the lives of men and women and bless them. Boys and girls will read these books and be inspired. They will, Lord, begin to see other worlds, Lord, and other opportunities, Lord, that there will be something beyond even the natural world for them, Father. We ask you now to bless this book launching. Bless each one here, in the precious name of Jesus our Lord. Amen. Thank you.
I'll ask the Deputy Lord Mayor, Councillor Joe Callahan, to say a couple of words.
Thanks, Eammon. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's a great pleasure to be here on behalf of the Lord Mayor of Cork, to have the opportunity to welcome each and every one of you to this tremendous facility, Cork's City Library, which is held in such high esteem both by the citizens, young and old alike, and indeed I would certainly take the opportunity to compliment and not alone the presence of the library, but the staff, the wonderful staff that we have here, who are so friendly, so encouraging and accommodating to everybody. I want to take a particular, give a particular invitation to each and every one of you, but I suppose to Carol Eammon, the author and the minister to our city here today, to this unique occasion and book launch. And I'm delighted that we have this opportunity to add to this great event. I want to take the opportunity to congratulate Vincent and his family, and indeed his mentors and supporters, for a wonderful achievement. It's doubly wonderful in that Cork is noted for producing great literary figures through the ages. O'Phelan, Frank O'Connor, and many others spring to mind. And I suppose it's very appropriate in the times that we live in that we are here this morning to honour an author or writer from a new development, part of the new immigrant community in Cork. And for that reason alone, it's doubly satisfying in that we have here not alone a person who is so talented and can produce such a beautiful work of art, and in particular for young people, but we have here a person who has epitomised and proven that in the midst of adversity, with the support of basic state facilities, services and supports, that you can achieve any goal you ascribe to. And I was delighted to see that the state services clicked in to support time after time for this very determined person, Vincent, here this morning. And the fact that he acknowledges this as somebody who is coming to Ireland from outside is absolutely wonderful to hear and to see. I would hope, quite honestly, that as the city and the country develops, that more people who are part and parcel now of our beloved country and society would become more integrated, because integration, quite honestly, is the way forward. The more people are involved, the more they give to community and to society, the easier and more natural it is for each and every one to understand each other and to bring and encourage the best out of each other. And at the end of the day, this is what it's all for. It's for the future, it's for the children, and it's a contribution to their well-being in that particular regard. I'm not going to keep you too long here this morning. I just want to say that the Lord Mayor of the City Council and the City of Cork are immensely proud of the achievement of Vincent and equally his publishers, his mentors, his supporters and his family. And while I know that the Minister is the main man here this morning to launch this book, and that he has a lot of authority and power in Dublin, but I want to say this to the younger people here. There's one thing that even the Minister hasn't got power over, and that's the power that the Lord Mayor of Cork has, and only the Lord Mayor of Cork has the power to give a half day off in school. So while Minister Simon Coveney is a great man, right, he can't say those elated and great words that, as far as I'm concerned, each and every one of you, for being present here today in the midst of this and on behalf of this great occasion, as far as I'm concerned, you have a half day off school after. So thank you for your attendance, congratulations to Vincent, and I look forward to seeing you next time.
I'd like to ask Brian Kane of Oak Tree Press just to say a couple of words before the Minister addresses us.
Pastor, Minister, Deputy Lord Mayor, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls will be the most important people because you're going to be the readers of this book. I met Vincent just under 2 years ago. I was asked by Eleanor here from CCAD to mentor him and to help him with a publishing project that he was trying to formulate. And we worked together over a couple of months, and at the end of that time, the mentoring ended, but Vincent and I have become friends, and we decided we would continue to work together. And we have, and we've shared the ups and the downs. I've shared the disappointment and frustration at some of the obstacles he's encountered. And I've shared the joy, in particular, about 2 months ago when he came with actually the very first printed copy of his book. And I have, I think, probably the first downloaded Kindle version of my Kindle reader. So there's a very special relationship between Vincent and myself. I think this is a great time for Vincent to be launching a new book. I think there are huge technological changes in publishing coming. The Kindle and the e-books is part of that. I think Ireland is in huge change as well. The Ireland that I grew up in has changed quite dramatically, in many cases for the better. And one of those changes for the better is the fact that we now have an immigrant Irish voice. Not an immigrant Irish voice, but an immigrant Irish voice that is going to be heard and is being heard now today with this new book. I think that perhaps in years to come, when my grandchildren are your age, I don't have any grandchildren yet, so they're yet to be born, yet to be thought of. But if I do have grandchildren, I think someday they will ask me about Vincent Eke and ask me whether he was a great storyteller. And I think that the mark of a great storyteller is that not only do they entertain, but they teach. And they teach not by telling people what to do, and not by lecturing, and not by prescribing, but they teach by holding up a mirror in which we see ourselves as we are, but also we see, perhaps very dimly, perhaps very obscurely, we also see ourselves as we could be. And if you read Vincent's book, The Church Shell, very carefully, you will find that the values that were important to us in Ireland in the past, that are still important to us today, honesty and integrity, mutual support in adversity, and forgiveness of others, come through this book. And Vincent teaches us about them in a very simple and engaging way. Of course, it forces us to reflect. And I think the adults among us, if you read this book, whether to your children or for yourself, and in a quiet moment sometime, it won't take you very long to do. I believe that somewhere in that region we will stop, even just for a moment, and pause before moving on again. And that moment for pause is the teaching. And yes, that makes Vincent, in my mind, a great storyteller. I'm delighted, having worked with Vincent over the last 2 years, to be here today at the launch of this book, with the minister in a few minutes, at the birth of his publishing company, Librarian Publishing, at the start of his career as a publisher, an author, and as a great storyteller. Vincent, every success to you. I wish you every success in the future. Minister, if you would like to...
Deputy Lord Mayor, I would like to have the power of my own children, never mind everybody else's. Of course, I'm delighted to be here in Cork City Library. This is a special place for a lot of people who bring their children here to explore the adventures and the stories that are in so many books on these shelves. And, I can remember coming to Cork City Library as a child with my parents, and I know an awful lot of other children do that now. So I'm delighted, actually, Vincent, that you decided to launch it here. I'm delighted that that the library has given such support, as they always do, to new authors and to new storytellers. I want to thank Eammon and his team here for that welcome. I also want to recognise both pastors that are here and thank Reverend Nick Cassidy for his words at the start, which were thought-provoking. I read the Turtle's Shell to my children last night in preparation for today, to see what kind of a response I get from them. I have a 4.5-year-old, a 2.5-year-old, and a 7-month-old who doesn't sleep. And they love stories. And often I tell them stories from a computer screen when I'm in Dublin rather than in person, but last night it was very much in person. But look, I think that the ingredients for a good story for children is trying to get them engaged in characters, in personalities, in storytelling, and in stories that have some meaning behind them that will get imagination going. And certainly this was an engaging story, Vincent. If the test of my daughters is any relevant test, it certainly passed with flying colours. I want to say also that I'm sure this is a very proud day for your family, Vincent, for Gina, for Joshua, Raymond and Matthew, who are looking very smart, I must say, today. Only one member of my family has written a book. He's a brother that's 2 years younger than I am. And he wrote a book about an adventure that we as a family undertook to try and sail a boat around the world. But I remember the discipline and the difficulty of writing that book. He had essentially signed up to a publishing contract before we left on that expedition. If he hadn't done that, he would never have completed the book. What you've done, Vincent, is not only have you written a book, you've also illustrated that book, you've also published it. You've done it with the help of mentors and friends like Brian O'Kane, with the support of organisations like CCAD, and I'm sure with the support of your family, probably more than anybody else. And I'm sure you've got inspiration from God and from your faith, which I also think is a powerful driver when taking on challenging projects like this one. Because when people look at a book like this, it looks good, it reads well, it's full of characters and personalities. It's interactive in terms of encouraging people to actually not only read it but also look at the pictures and engage with the characters and colour them in, if that's what people want to do or children want to do. But actually behind that book is 2 years of planning, of discipline, of writing and rewriting and rewriting and editing and rewriting and editing and rewriting again to try and get the story right. And anybody who has been involved in the not only the writing but also the publication of a book, designing of everything from its cover to its forward, will understand actually just how difficult it is to get from an idea of writing a book to actually producing the finished product. And actually when you consider the challenges that Vincent has faced in getting this done over a 2-year period, in terms of not having a sponsoring publisher, if you like, you begin to realize actually this is a phenomenal achievement to actually get it this far. And I hope it will spur you on to do more. And I know you have plans to do more. So the characters of Toby, Lima, Zuli and the others in terms of African animals primarily, but I think African animals that Irish children can relate to as well as African children, to be perfectly honest, because of their interaction through multiple media sources with tales from Africa, whether it's the Lion King or whether it's the Jungle Book or whatever it is. I think that these stories and these illustrations are as relevant to children in Carrigaline as they are to children in Nairobi. And I'm kind of proud as well that from an Irish perspective, we have a society now that is as multicultural and as open-minded as I'd like to think it is, to actually embrace authors like Vincent Eke. When I was growing up in Cork, when I was your age in Cork, 6, 7 and 8, I had a foster brother from Africa. And I can remember us walking through the streets of Cork, and literally he was the only black face in the city that we had encountered. Francis was his name. And how things have changed now. When I go to drop my daughter off to preschool, it is a multicultural setting now, with children learning language as well as new culture. It is also a multi-religious setting in terms of different perspectives on faith and so on. And that is an enriching, really good thing. And so the storytellers of today and tomorrow will be storytellers that bring that richness, that diversity, that difference of opinion and outlook, perhaps, to get us all thinking in a more open, broad-minded way around challenging ourselves. And I think this story actually is a lot more than just a story about animals who are trying to find their way in the world, trying to feed themselves, who are disgusted when they find out that their friends essentially have been hoarding food from everybody else when everybody was hungry, and they're angry about that. It's an interesting story about selfishness. It's an interesting story about the need to share. It's an interesting story about the sense of community that can be undermined if people start to do their own thing and forget about their neighbours and friends, or classmates if they're in school. It's a little bit like if you go to school and you have 2 or 3 people who've forgotten to bring their lunch, and nobody else shares their food because they just want to look after themselves. It gets people thinking about the need for thinking about other people, and friendship, and keeping communities together when some people may be going through a difficult time. And the different animals that bring different perspectives to that story. So I think poor old tortoises get a bit of a bad reputation out of this. But I suppose without villains, the rest of us don't learn lessons. And in some ways this story is a bit of a parable, if you like. And I often wondered actually why tortoise shells were as broken as they were. They do look like they're put back together. And perhaps this explains why. So can I congratulate everybody involved in this project, for those who support Vincent in terms of his faith, in terms of the organisational skills and the drive that are needed to finish a book. And I know that, Brian, you've been very much a part of that, and I think you deserve real recognition for that. In terms of Vincent's family, who I'm sure wanted him to forget about this project on loads of occasions. Gina, I take it you're a patient woman, because you need to be for a project like this. But I think the results now are what makes it all worthwhile. In terms of a personality, a character, who came into my office actually, and I've met Vincent loads of times in Caroline, but he came into my office and asked me whether I might be available to attend his book launch. And ironically, actually, my wife was in the office at the same time, and we were discussing whether or not she's always wanted to write a children's book. And actually, you don't realise it, Vincent, but the conversation we had that day and the launch of the book today, in many ways, is an inspiration for her now to try and start the process of how you might put a book together, because she's seen somebody else do it from nothing, which is what you've done. So I think this book, on lots of levels, will be an inspiration for people. Whether it's to encourage some other new writer to take on the daunting enough task of trying to express your personality through a book, and the organisation that requires. Whether it's young people reading about animals and how they're interacting with each other, and lessons learned in relation to building communities and sharing, and the need to look out for one another. Or whether it's your own family, who will be hugely proud of you today in terms of this publication, or indeed the faith community that you belong to, who I'm sure also proud of what you've achieved, or indeed the City Library here, who now have a new book to put up on the shelf to tell a story from perhaps a slightly different perspective than many of the other books here. On lots of levels, this book is significant, and I'm delighted to be playing a small part in officially launching it. So well done to everybody. Read the book, buy the book, support Vincent as an author in this book and the future books that I know he will write and publish and produce. I think you'll get a lot from him, actually, as my own children will. So even though I'm not announcing a half day for you, that is the remit of the Lord Mayor, as a government minister for Cork City and County, it's great to see a fellow Carolina person launching a book, getting to the end of his first project, but I'm sure one that will encourage him to do an awful lot more. I also want to recognise Ryan Howard here from CCAD, who is somebody who gets involved in multiple projects around Cork City and County, and is doing a very fine job, and I want to congratulate him for the CCAD role in this project with Vincent. So once again, thank you all for being here and enjoy this super colourful book. Thanks very much.
Right, thank you, Minister, for those wonderful words. We wish you and your family every success with the book, and possibly and hopefully this is only the first of many. So, would you welcome Vincent Eke?
Thank you, everyone. Good morning. Thank you for coming. It's great to see you all. And today is a very exciting day for me because of seeing all of you. I would just like to thank a few people who have helped me in this journey. First of all, I'd like to thank God for giving me the opportunity and the grace to be able to see this journey through to the finished product, to be able to publish this book. It's taken quite a long time from, the planning stage, from when I started thinking about writing it. It's taken a couple of years, and that's because of a lot of reasons, both financial and technical reasons. However, I'm very excited today that finally the book is here and I can touch it. So that makes me very, very happy. I would also like to thank Minister Simon Coveney for taking the opportunity to come and launch this book. I know he's a very busy man, and I'm very happy that he accepted my invitation to do the launching of the book. Thank you, Minister Simon. And I also like to thank the Lord Mayor for coming as well. Thank you for your support. I also like to thank a lot of people, Mayor Thompson from the Educate Together school in Cllr, who has been of great help to me, and the school of my son, Raymond, St. Killian's. Thank you all for coming. It's great to see you guys. I'd also like to thank Brian O'Kane, who has been my business mentor throughout this whole journey for the last 2 years. It's been great. It's been there for me all the time. Every time I've had to, I've been unsure of what to do. He has kind of encouraged me to keep going. So thank you, Brian. I appreciate all your help, and I hope we'll continue to work together in the future. Without you, this book would have come out. There are some organizations that help me with courses and other things to bring this book out, such as Cllr. Cllr was very instrumental in giving me the confidence to go ahead and pursue the publication of my book. So thank you, Cllr, and thank you for the representatives who are here today. I'd also like to thank the Cork City Partnership, who has helped me through the Back to Work Enterprise scheme to also pursue my dream of becoming a self-employed person, an entrepreneur, and possibly an author and publishing my book. So thank you, Cork City Partnership. And I'm not going to forget the most important people in my life, and that's my family. They have been great. They have been awesome. I want to thank Georgina. I want to thank Raymond. I want to thank Joshua and Matthew for being there for me. They've always encouraged me. When I read my stories to them, they've always told me it's a beautiful story. They like it. I hope that's true. And finally, I would like to thank the staff of the Cork City Library, Ronin and Catherine, and Evelyn, who is not here. She's still unwell. Please do thank her for me, and I wish her the best. They've also been instrumental in helping me to secure this place to launch my book, because it took me a while to find the right venue. I think this is the perfect venue and the perfect day to launch my book. So on that note, I won't want to talk too much. I want to thank all of you once again for coming. I appreciate you being here. And please,
do pick up a copy. It's a beautiful book, beautiful story. Tell your friends about it. Help me, pass it on by word of mouth. And the book will be available locally in all the shops in Eastings, Waterstones, and in the local bookshop in Cllr, as well as in Fortas, in Weirton, in the city centre. And it's also online as well in all the online ebook retail shops like Amazon and iBook Store. So you can buy the paperback as well as the Kindle version, the ebook. You can download the ebook. So on that note, I'm going to read some excerpts from my book. It'll take me a while to finish the book, so I'm sure all of you are not ready to stay here for a long time. So I'm going to read some of the best bits, and you can take your time when you get home to read the book fully and enjoy it. It's a beautiful story. So I'm going to start from the first chapter, story time. It was one of those nights when up in the sky you could see the full moon and stars hanging in divine splendor. Each star shone down upon the people below as if sending a message that their lost ones were not really gone, but instead were now part of the galaxy of stars protecting them. The croaking of the frogs in the nearby pond and the chirping of the crickets in the bush beyond, exchanging pleasantries, could be clearly heard. The night air was filled with the pungent smell of burning wood. You could hear the crackling of the bamboo as it gave itself up to the apparent heat of the fire. My fellow animals, he rumbled, you will have noticed that famine is creeping up on our land. We have little food left in our forest for everyone, and our young ones are beginning to die from starvation. Lima paused and looked around to assure himself that everyone was listening. The Council of Elders has decided to seek suggestions from you all about what to do to solve our problem of food shortage until this famine wears off. In the middle of the crowd, Zingy, the fish eagle, was flapping his wings. Yes, Zingy, I see you want to say something. What is it you want to say? Asked Lima. 2 days ago, in my quest for food for my family, I happened to fly past the land of the humans, and I noticed that they don't look hungry, said Zingy, talking in his wings. They're growing fat, and I even heard the town crier announce that their king has ordered everyone to bring some of their excess food to the palace barn for storage. Now, anyone who finds food must bring it back to the square. We will store some of the food in the great Iroko tree, and the rest will be shared among every family. Anyone who disobeys or hides any food will be banished from this forest, decreed Lima the Lion. The next day, Toby the Turtle was walking by the edge of the forest. A holder slung over his left shoulder. Inside the holder, all along with his small knife and shovel he needed for gathering food, was a small hourglass-shaped drum. The drum, known as a talking drum, gives out a loud, melodious sound. Toby was singing aloud to himself when he noticed a young girl carrying a food basket filled to the brim with chin-chin, sweet fried chips made from bread dough. Toby stopped and quickly hid behind a clump of bushes to watch her. She was walking alongside the forest, down by the unused road which led to the king's palace. Nobody used this road anymore. As the young girl passed Toby's hiding place, he thought of an idea. Toby sang his favorite song. And the favorite song goes like this. And I hope that all of you will be able to join me in a minute. Without the drumming, this song goes like this. It's a magical song. It goes like ting, ting, tirin, ting, tirin, perere, oh papi de, oh perere, oh mami de, oh perere. Would you like to repeat it with me? Would you like to sing it with me? Right. So the first line is ting, ting. You say it.
Ting, ting,
Tirin, ting, tirin, perere.
ting, 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 perere.
Oh papi de, oh perere.
Oh papi, oh perere.
Oh mami de, oh perere.
Oh mami de, oh perere.
Awesome. Then you repeat it over and over again. Now, let's do it one more time. Ting, ting. Ting, ting, ting. Tirin, ting, tirin, perere.
Ting, 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 perere.
Oh papi de, oh perere.
Oh papi de, oh perere.
Oh mami de, oh perere.
Oh mami de, oh perere.
And then we'll repeat it with the drumming again. Ting,
Ting,
ting, ting, perere. Oh papi de, oh perere. Oh mami de, oh perere.
ting,
Ting, ting, ting, ting, perere. Oh papi de, oh perere. Oh mami de, oh perere. Now, you're awesome. That's a talking drum. When you squeeze it, different sounds comes out of it as you're hitting the drum. And it's traditionally used in Western Africa, especially in Nigeria. I wonder where that singing is coming from, the girl said. I know for sure that there can't be anybody around these parts of the village. The girl could not help herself. She swayed her head and lips to the sound of the song. Toby noticed that the young girl started to dance to his song. Then she put her basket down by the bush. He was slightly surprised by her behavior. No man had heard this song before, or even danced to it like this girl. Toby stopped singing. The young girl also stopped dancing. Toby thought of another idea. He brought out his small drum. He beat the drum again. He beat the drum once. Bam! He beat the drum twice. Bam, bam! And then he beat the drum repeatedly. He then started to sing. To his drum. He wasn't so surprised this time when the girl started to dance once more. As Toby continued singing, the girl continued dancing away from her basket. The song and the drumming was so melodious that the young girl danced and left her food basket behind. And Toby thought of taking the food to the square to show everybody. But on the way, he changed his mind and took the food home to his family. Toby, his wife, and children were so happy that they ate all the delicious chinchi. The next day, Toby went to the same spot. To me, she said, her head and legs began to move to the music. My head and legs just seemed to have a mind of their own whenever I heard her drumming and singing. Then she placed her food basket by the bush path, so she could move more freely. As Toby continued singing, the young girl continued dancing away from her food baskets. As soon as their mission was accomplished, Toby stopped playing his drum. The young girl also stopped dancing. She looked around, but could not find her basket of food. My basket of chinchi is gone, she said, looking behind the shrubs and trees. She kept on searching and looking everywhere, but she could not find the basket. Eventually, she decided to give up her search. Yes, we did it, Toby said to his son. Let's go home and celebrate. He crawled back into the tunnel. Toby covered the opening of the tunnel with dried brown banana leaves. I'm very proud of you, Toby, said Mama Toto. You have saved our family from going hungry. Mama, it wasn't Papa that did the work, said the children. We helped as well. I know, children, said Mama Toto, hugging her two offspring. I did not forget you. Thank you, Tony and Sean, for helping your father to bring the food through the tunnel. Toby and his family had a feast that day, and even had enough to keep some in storage. As time went by, Toby and his family grew fat, robust, and healthy, while other animals grew thin and happy. These are some of the beautiful pictures illustrating and complementing the story. I hope you'll be able to look at them later on in the book when you pick one. Well, have it your way, Bonnie. I've told you my secret, said Toby, whistling his favorite tune as he struggled from the bank of the stream. I don't think that rascal Toby has told me the truth. I must bring this matter to the notice of Eammon the lion immediately, said Bonnie, aloud to himself as he watched Toby's bag disappear into the bush. Bonnie went straight to look for Eammon. He decided to run using the little strength still left in his body. He took the shortcut to the square that passes under the two ash coconut trees. "Ewu!" exclaimed the familiar wacky voice from the top of a nearby tree branch. Bongi came to a screeching halt. Bongi came to a screeching stop as he heard the surprise voice and looked up to find Zingi staring down at him crossing, like some hungry animal that just missed his meal. "Bongi, look what you've done," shouted Zingi the fish lady. "What's so important that you have to be backing and running through the woods? You just scared away the little mouse my family and I were going to have for dinner." "Greetings to you, Bongi, and to you, Zingi," replied Eammon. "Well, if that's the case, then I invite you to come closer, Bongi, my friend. There's nothing to be afraid of. My family are more scared of eating you than you are of them. And as for you, Zingi, by the time they've removed the feathers from your body, they will have lost their appetite," said Eammon in a congenial and friendly voice. The next market day, Bongi, Zingi, Zuli, Anda, and Harry watched Toby and his family as they used their secret method to get food from the young girl on the way to the king's palace. Toby and his family didn't realize that they were being watched the whole time. The other animals patiently waited until Toby and his family sat down to eat their meal at dinner time. Then they pounced on them and arrested them. "Greedy turtles," barked Bongi as the other animals grabbed Toby and his wife and children. "Selfish Toby," screeched Zingi. "Tie your hands. Tie a lot of them together and take all the food in the house to the square," bellowed Zuli the elephant. "Please don't harm us," cried Mama Turtle and the children. "We haven't done anything wrong." The other animals took Toby and his family to the square where all the other animals had gathered. "Tie them up at the end of the square," Eammon said angrily. "We will all decide how to punish them after we have all eaten this food Toby has saved." Toby, Mama Turtle, and his son Toby and daughter Shawnee were tied to the trees at the end of the square. All the animals then ignored them as they went to the other side, where they were all going to eat, where they were all going to have a feast on the chin-chin and other food taken from Toby's house. Toby tugged and struggled with the ropes trying to free himself, which was not good. His ropes were tied very tight. Mama Turtle and Tony did the same, but theirs were also tied very tight. "Mama, look, my ropes are not so tight," Shawnee said. She tried moving forward and then sideways. She then pulled at her ropes. Fortunately for Shawnee, her ropes got so loose that she could wiggle herself from underneath her. Shawnee hurriedly freed her father, who then freed Mama Turtle and Tony. Toby could see that the other animals' backs were turned to them as they fed on the delicious chin-chin. "Listen, everyone, we have to run and escape from here while they had all eaten," Toby said to his family. Toby and his family started to creep away from the edge of the square and into the bush. As they did this, they heard a shout from behind them. "Hey! They are escaping!" Somebody shouted. "Get them! Don't let them escape," they heard Eammon saying. "Run! Run fast!" Toby said to his family. "They are coming!" Toby and his family ran as fast as they could. They did not know where they were running to. The other animals pursued them until they caught up with them at the edge of the bottomless cave. Toby and his family were trapped now. There was nowhere else to run. They stood an inch backwards to the edge of the cave as the other angry animals came closer and closer to them. "Get them!" Eammon shouted. "They must be punished." As some of the mob of animals moved forward to grab hold of them, Toby and his family slipped at the edge and fell into the cave. Toby and his family fell down the deep canyon and hit the rocks below. This caused their shells to crack in many places, and they sustained several injuries to their bodies. Luckily for Toby and his family, they were saved from being killed by a medicine man who was out walking in the thick forest inside the canyon, looking for healing plants and roots. The medicine man heard their cry for help and came to their rescue. The medicine man took them to his home and tended to their wounds. He mixed different herbs together and used it to heal their bodies and glued up the shells of Toby and his family. They stayed with the medicine man until they were well again. So, my children, this is the reason why ever since the tortoise shell has had the past shape you see today, and its craftiness and wisdom has never been reduced either, proclaimed Mama as if with divine knowledge. The end. So I hope you enjoy the small bits I was able to read there in such a short time. But I believe you will enjoy it more when you're reading it on your own, and you'll be able to get a sense of, how the story moves along. And there is a sample of the chinchi that is mentioned in this book on the tables there. It's a sweet snack made from flour, made from bread dough, and I will encourage you to try some. That is the kind of food Toby and his friends were eating in this story. So thank you very much for coming, and please enjoy the rest of the refreshments we have here. In a minute, I will be sitting down here to sign a copy of the signing book that you have. Thank you very much.
Yeah.